So what I'm about to show you today should absolutely break the bank. And here's what I mean. I'm going to be showing you how I'm using System.io to vibe code. So here is what I did. If you look right here, I pulled up Gemini. Now the new Gemini is basically saying it can do everything. It's putting a lot of businesses on the sidewalk. Why? Because the things that it's saying it can do is amazing. Now, what I've been able to do is combine what Gemini can do with what System.io does very, very well, and for a little amount of money. Here it is. So if you look right here, I've got Gemini up. So I was able to take an idea that I had, put it into here, and I had to go up, back and forth with Gemini a little bit, but I've been using a lot of different tools. I have been 10 toes down and 8 fingers and 2 thumbs down, diving into vibe coding. So I've been diving super duper deep. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Is because we're able to use System.io. If you notice right here, System.io does a fabulous job of funnel building, course building, email getting, all of that kind of stuff. Now I have the premium version of System.io and just barely the paid version of Google. But I'm telling you, those two together is crazy. Now, again, I told you I've been using some different things, but let me just show you this right here, right? Look, I'm going to show you how I put this in. Now, one of the very first things I did was, if you notice, this is a straight landing page, or a sales page in this case. And what I was able to do is already connect it to the next step. I'll dive into that a little bit deeper here coming up. But if you notice, I had all the things I wanted to get in. I've got my links. I've got the copy. I've got images. And then very simply, I have information that makes people go, I want this right now. Right? So let's go ahead and hit save that. So here's something that I'd like to do. If you notice the first one, the first part of this had a particular founder member launch limited time. When it closes, it closes. Now what I did was I vibe coded it up again and says, well, take this out, do this, change it up a little bit. Now what I like to do so that we can practice and put it all in here is I like to just put it right underneath what I'm already working on, and to the best one wins. Look at this. This one says, attention Christian entrepreneurs who are tired of the grind. I just called it out, right? So now from a marketing perspective, that's what we're looking at. We want to call out who it is for. Same image. Why do you work so hard? Wait a minute. I am agitating the problem. Y'all seeing it? So this is a tutorial. I'm giving it to you. Nobody is doing this, everybody. Nobody is doing this. Nobody is using vibe code tools with some of the old school LMSs. They haven't figured out how to put it together, but guess who has? The Monetize Your Life guy, you bet, right? So here it is. I might well start calling myself the AI Your Life guy. In fact, I think I might do that. So look at this. This is the same thing. Yes, I want to break the cycle. Now notice, a little bit different than the other one. It's telling them instant digital access. So now we have the power of speed with vibe coding tools. This has been the problem. The problem has been that we had to decide, oh my gosh, these vibe coding tools, but then I gotta, hook it up to Vercel. I gotta hook it up to this. I gotta put Superbase as a backend. I gotta do all this kind of stuff. And I said, well, shoot, I already pay for these other tools. Why do I have to do that? If I can figure out how to marry the two, right? I like to say, old school and new school. So we got new school tools with old school rules, right? And we can make a bag. Why? Simply because this thing does more stuff for you. You can put it in, have people come to your sales page, go to the next page, and then they get all kind of other cool things. Now, if you want to do some very specific things like put videos in, you would have to tell your vibe coding tool to do just that, right? Inside of here, we can go and says, hey, leave a space for a video. In fact, here's the link for the video. Put it in for me. Now, what I could do is, because I use some other tools, I use YouTube, I use Voomly, all kinds of stuff, right? I'll be sharing with this more of this stuff inside of either I'm going to do the membership, I believe, and I'll probably pop a course on this just to show you how to do this stuff at scale. Every single day you should be, watch this, I hate to tell grown folks what they should be doing, but you should be putting out at least 2 products a day. Yes, 2 products a day. So, okay, let's go here. We got some information here. Now, I had to go a little bit back and forth with Google to get it just right. Some things I didn't like, and it says, okay, I'll fix it. Now, here's the thing I like about Google is typically when it gives you the code is pretty clean. It has things in there that it already likes, but I had to literally tell it, in this particular case, I had to tell it, hey, don't do this. System.io doesn't like this. System.io doesn't like that. Now it starts kind of understanding it. Here's another thing that could help you is you go over, and if you get some code back from one of the vibe coding tools, and here's the thing I had found. In the vibe coding tools, what they will do is try to keep you in their little sandbox, right? They want to keep you on their app. So they say, hey, we'll spin it up for you if you want, but then you don't have some of the same controls that you would with your stuff. That's the point. That's their property. That's their land. Now you own this. You got all the good stuff over here. All right. So in this, one of the cases, I had to go over to ChatGPT, and I had to make sure that it gave me what I needed. I says, look, System.io only accepts clean structural HTML. I had to tell it that. Now I'll show you all this stuff as we go deeper. Now, once it gives you something back, we have a chance to check it before we put it into our editor. I like to use something like this right here. If you want to use a Notepad++, you can use Notepad, that works too, but I'll put it in like this just to look at it, check it out, right? You might want to make some changes over here, put a little couple things in. Now this stuff right here, I'm telling you, is not terribly. I'm a 50-plus-year-old vibe coder. If I can do it, you certainly can do it, right? Here is what you can do. Looking at this stuff, boom, you go, all right, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna put it in here. And then once you go and take a look at it right here, you could just hit, this is why I like Notebook or Notepad++, is you can hit save as. It goes down into your files over here. And then what you could do is just grab it right here. Once you take a look at it, you can say, okay, that looks pretty good. I like the way that's looking. And you get a chance. Now, this is not the one you're going to use, but this is what you can look at just to kind of see if it looks good for you. If it looks good on this one, everything seems to work. Then you take that stuff and you say, okay, I don't need to make any changes. But if you need to make some changes, you can find out where to make the changes. It is so cool. Vibe coding with System.io, everybody. I'm telling you, this right here, I'm going to go even past saying it's game changer. I think it's money maker. But again, this information is educational. It is not to be seen as financial advice. People that try this stuff sometimes make no money because they don't do anything. They get frustrated. I was frustrated. I was telling off a whole bunch of these vibe coding tools, and then you start seeing the cracks. But a lot of times when people are out there trying to make money, it's not typical, it's not implied, it's not guaranteed, it's not even promised that you're gonna make a dime. But I can tell you this, the more you work with this stuff, the more you get out there and start vibe coding with System.io, using different tools, and I'm going to show you the different tools to vibe code with. It will change everything for you. Trust me on this. I'm telling you, 50-plus-year-old vibe coder is doing it every single day. I know you got what it takes to do it. You can do it too. All right. So we're going to be diving deeper into this. I'm going to be using some different tools to vibe code, but I'm going to be using System.io. Now I use several LMSs because, well, I always have a fear that if one goes down, I'll have another, you know, like a backup. So, but this particular case, I'm using System.io to vibe code like a boss. You can come up with all kinds of stuff. Now, Google has just come out and basically said they're the big dogs. They're not going away. Some of these other tools, I'm not so sure when the bubble bursts if they'll be around. Right now, I use Lovable. I use some of the other ones. I'm kind of going, man, I know Google will be here. What about you guys? So what we're going to be wanting to do once you come on inside, whether you're going to be going into the community, going over to one of the communities, or inside the course, I'm going to be showing you how to safeguard some of that stuff, how you de-risk some of that stuff as you get out there and vibe code with System.io. It is amazing. I think you're gonna love it. Come on inside and let's get to work on this stuff. And let me show you how I can make it easier for you, because I'm gonna give you some inside strategies that I'm looking all over the internet. I'm not seeing it. So this could be the first video and then they'll all flood in or whatever if this one gets popular. Make sure that this gets popular. Get in the comments and give me your questions. Get in the comments and say, hey, can you make this? And let me show you how. Maybe you come on to a live or something like that and I show you how. Get in the comments, talk about this stuff, hit like, watch this video all the way to the end. In fact, if you're doing something, just put it in your ear and just go ahead and do what you're doing. Let it play to the end. This stuff is going to blow your mind. I keep seeing all these videos. This is insane. Oh my gosh, Google 3 is insane. Nano Banana 3 is insane. I'm saying vibe coding with System.io is insane. We're going to use it. I have figured it out. I now know how to use it, not only on the landing pages, not only in some of the sales pages. We can do it in, guess where? The blog pages too. You bet. I'm going to show it all to you. Come on inside, comment in the comments below, and let's get in here and get this money. Talk to you next time.